It's that time of year. Pumpkin spice is in the air, leaves are falling out of the trees, and guess what? You have to pick them up, but you don't want to hurt your back. In this quick video, I go over the do's and don'ts of how to rake. I have advanced leaf removal advice for you from my yard. I'm Dr. Paul Koch, and it's coming up right now. Hi, I'm Dr. Paul Koch, and welcome to another episode of Uncommon Knowledge. In today's episode, we're going to show you how to properly rake so that you don't hurt your back. The first thing I suggest that you do is you get yourself one of these. This is called a teenager, and he has a rake with him, and they are very good at removing leaves. If you don't have a teenager with a rake, what I suggest you get is you get a bigger teenager with a backpack leaf blower. They work even better. Thank you. Now, if you don't have a teenager to deal with, you're going to have to rake yourself. And what I want to do is I want to go over today some of the best techniques and tools for raking. Christian, can I have that rake? So we've got a couple different kinds of rakes. We've got this rake. We've got a little metal rake. This rake is not good for much of anything but smoothing out mulch. I would not suggest trying to rake many leaves with a rake like this. This is typical Home Depot rake, double set of tines on the bottom, great for raking leaves. And what you want to do is you want to make sure you use a good quality rake, because the better the rake, the less work you have to do. What I also suggest you do is you get a pair of these. These are work gloves. You can get these at Fazio Steel right around the corner from my office. They have a great selection of gloves, very inexpensive there too. I'll get to that. So what I want to do is I want to show you today how to rake. And I see a lot of patients in my office this time of year, and they have a lot of back problems because they rake only one way. And what happens is you get good at raking in one direction. You know, we rake like this, and for 4 hours you do your whole yard raking like this. But what happens is when you do that, you activate muscles on one side of your back and not on the other side of the back. And that imbalance is what creates a lot of problems. So when you're raking, you want to switch it up as much as you can. Just like in the video that I had earlier in the year when we showed you how to get rid of the snow in your yard, you want to make sure that you have balance in the body and go both ways. So if you're going to rake this way, what you want to do is you want to switch it up and do it this way also. If you rake in both directions, you're going to be able to activate both of the muscles in your back, and you're going to have better balance in your back. And it's important to do that so that you're equally fatigued. A fatigued muscle will go into spasm, and that will that'll cause some problems. So you want to make sure that you're warmed up. You want to make sure that you stay low to the ground. When it comes time to getting rid of all the leaves, what you want to do is sometimes it's easier to rake them onto a tarp, drag the tarp out, the gate out to the front of the yard where the township will take them away. So again, bend with the legs, use both sides of the raking postures, and that will help to have you get through the day without having a lot of problems. So wake up early, make sure you get it done early, that you can stay hydrated and get some rest when you're done. And stay tuned for part 2 of our how to get rid of the leaves. It's coming up right now. This is part 2 of our how to get rid of leaves video, and this is my yard. I have a lot of trees that lose their leaves, and I have a lot of leaves to get rid of every fall. If you don't have a big yard, like I said, the rake will work well. The big Home Depot rakes, I think, are the best ones for that process. You saw my son with our backpack steel leaf blower, and in my opinion, the backpack blower is the best version of blowers. The small handheld blowers, I have a small electric one. If you have a small yard, these tend to work fairly well for smaller yards. They do a good job of getting rid of the leaves. The larger gasoline-powered leaf blowers, I find, do not work that well, because what happens is when you're holding that leaf blower, the blower is pushing out, but it pushes back against you. What that does is puts a lot of stress into your shoulder girdle, and it can be very painful blowing leaves with one of those types of backpack or one of those leaf blowers all day. So, like I said, I don't suggest the handheld ones. They're not good for a lot of leaves. You see behind me, I have a big blower, and they're good for getting rid of leaves that are all in a big area. So if you're just trying to push all the leaves in one direction, they do a great job. If you're trying to get around flower beds, they don't really work all that well, so I don't suggest that kind of blower. What you want to do also when you use these blowers, you want to use some hearing protection. There's two types of protection I suggest. You have the ear muffs that come with the blower often. They're inexpensive. Even cheaper are the little pack of ear plugs that you can use. They tear off and you can use them once and throw them away when you're done. They just go in your ear canals. You want to make sure you protect your ears when you're using these blowers. What I find is that the best time to do it is when you've got a favorable wind. Blowing leaves on a windy day is pointless, especially if you're trying to blow leaves in that direction. If you have a windy day and you're trying to get the leaves in that direction, it's a great way to do it. So when I have a good strong wind and I know that it's going to be in my favor, I'll use those days to push those leaves in that direction. If you don't need to put the leaves out by the curb, I suggest you push them in a pile and you can compost them. They're great for your garden beds next year, and it's a good way to reduce waste and reuse those leaves to make your yard more beautiful. That's my best advice. Again, I'm Dr. Paul Koch. This is Uncommon Knowledge. If you've enjoyed this video, please consider liking it and sharing it with a friend. If you've seen it on YouTube and you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. And this way you can get my videos or notices when I do them right away. So again, this is Uncommon Knowledge. I'm Dr. Paul Koch from Koch Chiropractic. Thank you and have a great day.